Well, let's see how many subscribers I'm going to lose after this video, because we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, and if there's anything I've learned regarding Sonic, every opinion is wrong and nothing is good, except the classics, and yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm Espionic.
And I'm Yoshi Power 4, the laziest guy alive.
Yeah. So, SEGA had a live stream at Comic-Con, some sort of 25th anniversary event, and neither one of us saw the live stream, which is apparently a major bullet dodge.
No, this sucks.
Yeah, I've just heard nothing but bad things about the stream itself. But other than that, I don't really have anything to say about the stream itself. But yeah, I couldn't watch the live stream because of circumstances. I didn't have time to watch it or find it, so I just waited for trailers to show up and saw that Game Explained had the Sonic Mania trailer up first, and I noticed the classic visual style of the logo and Sonic himself on the thumbnail, so I was thinking, are they really going that route, going for a truly retro-styled Sonic game? And during the point in the trailer when they were, like, going backwards, I knew it was going to be a 16-bit Sega Genesis graphic-styled Sonic game. So, after seeing the trailer, this was before Project Sonic 2017 was announced, by the way, I noticed a number of people were excited for Sonic Mania, but I saw a lot of people complaining about how it's purely nostalgic. It's purely nostalgic with its sprites and how it's not new or exciting, and I was thinking, are you really surprised that they're doing this?
Let's look at the last two games we had.
Yeah, Sonic was having some nice momentum with Colors and Generations, and Lost World was kind of a bump in the road for that, and then Rise of Lyric basically just killed Sonic's reputation all over again, which is kind of unfortunate that people decided to just sort of forget that Colors and Generations are good games, but some people won't even acknowledge them as good games because people are with Sonic. People are just all over the place.
People will get pissy with you if you like Sonic Adventure. There are people who do not like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
No, there are people who literally don't like anything other than the classics, and it's just... And... well, either way, like, Sonic's back to being in a bad spot right now, and leading up to this, I've seen Sega mention that they were going to make at least another new game that was inspired by the classics, so seeing Sonic Mania did not surprise me at all. I mean, I was probably a little surprised that they went with the classic sprites and the classic models, but the classic gameplay style did not surprise me at all.
Because they're playing it safe. Because they're just banking on those people who pretty much hung their Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive, whatever you want to call it. They just want to cash in on those guys, because that's the safest thing they can do.
Now, as for me, this might be kind of surprising to hear, considering the age group I'm in is associated with a classic Sonic fan, but I'm, for better or worse, more of a modern Sonic fan. I'm not too big of a classic fan, and I think the fact that you see a clip of Sonic Heroes in my intro would be the best indication of that. We didn't have a Genesis growing up. Like, we were pretty strictly Nintendo only up until, like, the PlayStation 3. I do remember playing a little bit of Sonic and Knuckles as a kid, but I don't remember how I felt about it back then. I just know that I did. But I got into Sonic with Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube back in 2002. It was the first 3D platformer I actually really played and got into, and Sonic was kind of my platformer of choice at the time for a multitude of reasons. I didn't really play the classics until 2010 with Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PS3. My thoughts on the classic games are, well...
Fuck Sonic 2!
Okay, fine, I'll just start with Sonic 2 because if there's anything you want to know about me regarding the Sonic franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog 2... I know I'm gonna get a lot of crap for saying this, but I don't like that game. I think it's the most overrated video game of all time. Like, it may show off Sonic's speed a lot better than Sonic 1 did, but Sonic 2, I think, just has some pretty bad enemy placement and level design choices in places. Sonic 1, I don't think is that great of a game either. I feel like you spend way too much time in the game moving slowly. I don't like a lot of the zones. Marble Zone sucks, Labyrinth Zone sucks, Spring Yard Zone sucks. Scrap Brain, I kind of have a love-hate relationship, but I kind of don't like that stage either. But I only really like Green Hill and Starlight. I will say, however, that I think Sonic 3 and Knuckles is an excellent game, and I can more understand the love of that game, so whenever I revisit the classic era, it's almost exclusively Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic CD I've never played, I don't know if I ever will, but Sonic Mania kind of looks like a combination of elements from Sonic CD and Sonic and Knuckles, which I think is a good thing. There have been some gameplay videos of Sonic Mania from the event. They're online now, and looking at them, there's definitely some visual elements that came from Sonic CD. Like, when Sonic bounces on top of, like, springs, the way he bounces up is the same way as he did in Sonic CD. And the music for Studiopolis Zone sounds like it came straight from Sonic CD. I've been loving that song, by the way. The game has the bubble and fire shields from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It apparently has the bonus rings for special stages like Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
So we can get blue balls.
Hopefully.
I'm pretty sure that's what it said originally.
One thing that did surprise me, though, was that Tails and Knuckles are going to be playable in this game, which is great, because they haven't been playable in a very long time. I mean, Tails was playable in Sonic 4 Episode 2, but...
He's Sonic's bitch. Let's just say that. And yes, this is me saying it as a fanboy. And you can't tell from the screen name, Tails is one of my favorite Sonic characters.
Well, he was kind of that in Sonic 2 anyway.
But at least Sonic only had this, like, well, in Sonic 2, you both jumped and both spin dash. Tails flew, but you didn't get to control that. He just comes out of nowhere. It's only like Sonic 3 where they go like, oh right, Tails can fly, so let's let the player do that when they play as him. In Sonic 4 Episode 2, Sonic can homing attack, Sonic can air dash. He gets all of these, he gets those things alone. You just get spin dash and fly. And you're pretty much there to fly Sonic to places, or 69 spin dash with him, or just carry him through water. That's all you did. You're essentially a glorified maid.
Yeah, I guess it is better that that Tails will be kind of his own fully fledged character again.
Like, where he hopefully retains the skills he had from the classic Sonic games. They don't just go pretty much making him. Now,
I'm pretty sure they're going to.
Now I wonder, will they actually keep it where there's a mode where you have Sonic and Tails?
I'm pretty sure there's going to be. You know, I kind of wish that they had thrown everyone for a loop with the third playable character. Like, if they said, like, Sonic, Tails, Rouge. I would have loved to see the reaction.
Sonic, Tails, Mighty the Armadillo. Or Ray the Flying Squirrel.
This game will feature reimagined zones from Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, and Knuckles. Like Green Hill Zone and brand new zones like Studiopolis. I'm thinking about the reimagined zones I would want. The only other one I would want from Sonic 1 is Starlight Zone, because screw everything else.
Especially Marble and Labyrinth.
Oh my god. But Sonic 2, well, both versions of Generations had the only 2 stages I'd really want from Sonic 2.
Hey, what about Hilltop?
Well, actually I would be fine with Hilltop, because I actually think Hilltop Zone is a decent level in Sonic 2, but other than like Casino Night and Chemical Plant, I really don't want anything else for that game. Sonic CD, I haven't played it, so I don't have any preference. Anything from Sonic CD is whatever to me.
I hope we get to work that sucker to death, though.
Now, as for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the Sonic 3 have got completely shafted in
yeah, we only got some
Generations.
It's like, here's Sky Sanctuary. No Lava Reef Zone. I loved, I never played this. I did love the music of Lava Reef. I love Hydro City. I actually, Ice Cap, well, honestly, Ice Cap is very overrated, but I kind of like it.
I would bet that Mania would have Ice Cap Zone this time around, just because that was like the level people were saying was missing from Generations.
We did get a lot of snow levels, by the way, in both 3DS and on the HD consoles. Did we get a single snow level?
No.
Like, yeah, where's Ice Cap? Where's, well, not Diamond Dust, that's just bad. I like the name, but that's...
But, yeah, my personal favorite level from Sonic 3 is Hydro City. I love that level so much, and I personally would rather have that than Ice Cap just because it's my favorite level. As for Sonic and Knuckles, I'm hoping and praying for Flying Battery Zone. Flying Battery Zone is my favorite level from the entire classic era. I love the music, the level design elements. It's just such an awesome zone, and I'd be over the moon to have it in this game. And the reason why I kind of like bring up sort of I guess my distaste toward, not the classic era as a whole, mostly Sonic 1 and 2, I think it mostly has to do with the fact that when I started seeing the fan base in like 2005 or so, there's always been just, I can't describe it any other way than just an obnoxious elitism with how mind-blowingly awesome the classic games are and everything, and that everything after that is horrible. I think that elitism really affected my judgment of the classics, because when you spend like 5 or 6 years seeing so many people talk up the classics like they're the second coming of Jesus, and then you finally play Sonic 1 and 2, you're thinking, this isn't that great. Why are you making this seem way better than it actually is?
A lot of the classic fans came off as stereotypical people from Boston, particularly with sports.
But I think I'm pointing out like all my thoughts on the classic Sonic games, mostly like as a more modern fan. I'm pointing this out because I'm not negative towards Sonic Mania at all. Like, no matter how I feel about the classic era of Sonic as a whole, it doesn't change the fact that most of the fans love classic Sonic the most, and they haven't had a solely, truly classic Sonic experience since, I would say, the original Sonic Advance back in 2001.
Yeah, the Sonic Advance...
And I like that game.
Sonic Advance had more things to actually following a Genesis engine. So if anyone plays Sonic, if people probably wondering the other sequels don't, yeah, Sonic 2 is nothing like Sonic Advance. And hell, it doesn't even play like the old school Genesis games. And to anyone who wants to try to play Sonic Advance 2, fuck the Egg Saucer. That's all.
And, like, not experiencing something classic that you loved, I can sympathize with that, because that's how I felt with Mario. I wanted a 2D style Mario game for so long because that's what I grew up with. That's generally what I love the most about Mario, and I got that in New Super Mario Bros. So ultimately, I totally understand why SEGA is doing this, and I think they should do this, and it seems like it's going to be done well. The main developer behind this is Christian Whitehead, who apparently did what people consider to be the definitive version of Sonic CD. He seems to really know his stuff when it comes to classic Sonic. So now, do I think the classic designs or the sprites are particularly necessary? No, but I think Sega wants to make it extremely clear that this is nothing but a pure classic Sonic game. There's Genesis-style sprites, the classic characters, no one else, although I wouldn't be surprised if classic Amy and Metal Sonic at least appear in the game.
Yeah, because those guys were there in the original classic era.
Yeah. There's no voice acting, there's no cutscenes. Well, maybe some minor cutscenes like Sonic 3 and Knuckles did, but...
Like, where when you start the game, Knuckles Shoryukens you, or when you get to, like, the Hidden Palace, was it Hidden Palace? No. Where you fight Knuckles.
Yeah, you fight him there.
Yeah, you fight him there. And then they have the cutscene where Eggman steals the Master Emerald and Knuckles realizes he's been played.
But basically, yeah, it's a classic Sonic game. Plus, just using the sprite art style is beneficial because they aren't worrying about using super modern graphics or anything, now they can add a lot more to the game. They can have a lot more levels. Which, I heard that this game is actually going to be longer to Generations. That they plan this game to be longer to Generations.
I'm surprised it could be... Well, it's not harder to be longer to Generations. When you really get down to it, even with all the mini things you can do, like, play tennis with Vector or snowboard and rooftop run. You can get through those missions pretty fast.
The game is not... It's not a long game.
No, you can get through it pretty fast.
I kind of wonder if this will lead into sort of a new Super Mario Bros. Equivalent for the Sonic series. I think a lot of fans would like that.
The closest thing they got to New Super Mario Bros. Was Sonic 4, and people were very mixed on those. This might be received better, but yeah, because it's 60-bit and there's no green eyes.
I think...
And people probably know what I was referring to.
Look, this is the same fanbase that somehow decided that Sonic having buckles on his shoes ruins his credibility for some reason. But I think a lot of the initial thoughts for Sonic Mania were based on the assumption that was going to be the only game. It was going to be the only game that they were going to announce. I saw people hoping or saying that they were going to announce another game. I just assumed it was like wishful thinking from those people. So like once I got off the internet and off my laptop, I checked the phone and I saw that another game was announced, and I was surprised because I assumed Sonic Mania was gonna be it.
Where they going?
Because I can imagine like that Sega would just want to play it safe.
Like, please forget sports tape. Don't look at that parkour.
Anyway, I saw it on an article on the phone, and all I could see was like a really crappy picture of modern and classic Sonic because the freaking phone sucks, and I didn't know what to make of it, and I didn't get to see the trailer for Project Sonic 2017 until the following Monday. There isn't a whole lot to say about this game since all they showed was a CGI trailer with no gameplay whatsoever, but when I saw the trailer, I wasn't sure what to make of this. The thing that sticks out to me is that the trailer indicates that this game is going to be much more serious and dire in tone than most of the recent Sonic games, which I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, even the way that they had the logos were just the Colors and Generations logo in that trailer was just like, wow. On the one hand, I know there have been a lot of people who were hoping for a Sonic game with a much more serious tone just because they didn't like the sillier, more humor-driven dialogue of Colors or Generations or Lost World, and some people are probably excited for this just because this game seems to be much more intense in tone. all I'm hoping is that the tone isn't going to be like Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic 06, because those games handled it
pretty badly.
To a point where it was silly just because of how serious they wanted you to take it.
It wasn't like, it's not like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where the comics, where they're dark and edgy, where the humor was, they were all doing this all seriously, but the humor was more in, they were turtles, mutated turtles that knew ninjutsu. Sonic 06 is Shadow the Hedgehog, where I don't want this game to replicate those, where they took it so serious, had a stick rammed up their butt, and all of this was told with a straight face. We're supposed to take the 3-foot blue hedgehog with red running shoes, fighting a Theodore Roosevelt with a giant egg body in his pajamas. Seriously. Sometimes you gotta take the piss out of it, because there's a part where you gotta go roll your eyes at it.
What I'm hoping for, honestly, is something like Sonic Unleashed in terms of tone, because I felt Sonic Unleashed had a really great balance of intense epic moments and lighthearted fun humor. Like, the only thing I did really like from that game story was when Dark Gaia was bleeding to death. But other than that, I thought the balance of the overall tone was very good.
Like, you had Eggman threatening the people of Missouri. The little kid's like, "We're not telling you anything!" Throws a rock at him. Eggman gets clocked, and Orbot just laughs at him. Points and laughs at him specifically.
Sonic Unleashed has, I would say, my favorite story of this series as well, so if it felt like Unleashed, I would be very happy about that. The other thing I'm not so sure about is the return of Classic Sonic in this game, because, I mean, the Classic Sonic fans are going to get their fix of Sonic Mania, so when I did hear there was going to be a 3D game, I was hoping it would be more purely focused on modern Sonic. The trailer seems to imply the return of the boost gameplay for modern Sonic, which makes me happy. That's, like, for the most part, that's my ideal way of playing as Sonic, but I don't know how about having classic Sonic teaming up with modern Sonic again. You know, actually, my personal ideal 3D Sonic game, at least at this point, would basically be like the modern Sonic gameplay, and you know what? Instead of classic Sonic appearing to save modern Sonic, I kind of wish it was Blaze.
Basically, even Shadow.
Basically, what I would want is a 3D Sonic Rush. Sonic Rush, I would say, is my favorite Sonic game, and Blaze is my favorite Sonic character for sure. Her gameplay would coincide with modern Sonic's very nicely. Although I will say I did like classic Sonic's entrance in the trailer, because he essentially jumps in with a smile on his face, so that implies that the game will have rays of light shining through the darkness that this game seems to have, which I want some light in this game to balance with the darker, grittier tone.
Well, I feel like what they're trying to show is like there's this army of giant Death Egg robots. It seems like there's no hope, but we have Sonic. We still have Sonic, so we still have hope. It's supposed to be like he's essentially supposed to be like Superman. Like we don't like even if there was Doomsday or Darkseid, we still have Superman. And it seems like, and I kind of agree, when you see classic Sonic, he still is sporting that smile. You feel like Sonic still has a smile on his face when he's running towards the robots with determination. That doesn't make it seem like it's going the Shadow route.
Now, Azuka said that this isn't Generations 2, but I have a hard time thinking that it isn't. Although, I've kind of been thinking about a few things. Some people are thinking that there's going to be a third Sonic in this game, because in the trailer there are actually 3 of those enormous Death Egg robots, but in the trailer ended up focusing on 2 of the robots and the 2 Sonic, so people are wondering if there's a third Sonic associated with that third robot. And some people are thinking it might be Boom Sonic, some are saying it might be Dreamcast Sonic.
Does anyone think it's Archie Sonic?
Maybe. I don't think specifically. Well, some people are kind of talking about how there might be some sort of connection to the Archie comic universe, and I don't know about that. But the idea I personally kind of came up with the end of the trailer where it said the words "join the resistance," which implies there's going to be more than just Sonic. So I was thinking, what if, in terms of other characters, maybe they have, like, you know, a classic team and a modern team. What if there's classic Sonic, classic Tails, and classic Knuckles, and then there's modern Sonic, modern Tails, modern Knuckles, and they're, like, all part of this resistance?
That'd be pretty cool, but I don't think they would do that, because when anyone complains they don't like Sonic's shitty friends, they don't put them in.
Well, they usually... Well, yeah, sometimes even Tails and Knuckles are excluded from that.
Yeah, I wanted Tails to be playable in a game so long, and here's what I got. I got a crappy Wii U game nobody likes, 3DS game people tolerate at best, and now I got Return to Tails being playable is either Olympic spinoffs and the newest thing coming out is a game that's only downloadable, so...
Oh yeah, that's right. One of the things that's confirmed for Project Sonic 2017 is that it's coming out holiday 2017 for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the NX, which was really surprising to hear because, yeah, going back to Sonic Mania, that's coming out spring 2017 for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, but it hasn't been confirmed for NX, which, when Sonic Mania was the only thing announced at first, people were thinking, oh, it's probably because they aren't allowed to say NX yet because Nintendo doesn't want them to yet. And then shortly after that, Sega announces another game that is confirmed for the NX.
And Nintendo was cool with it.
And Nintendo of America apparently retweeted the announcement of that game for the NX. So now that's one of the biggest questions on my mind right now. Why is Project Sonic 2017 confirmed for NX when it's coming much later, but Sonic Mania isn't?
I don't have an answer.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. Either way, it's really interesting that Project Sonic 2017 is one of the first games confirmed for the NX.
Well, actually, Breath of the Wild was.
No, I said one of the first.
Oh, sorry.
And to be fair, that technically wasn't either. Because, like, now we have Sonic, we have Breath of the Wild, we have Pikmin 4, I think is basically confirmed for that. And
there's a 3D Mario game. A new 3D Mario game confirmed for the NX, isn't there?
Not outright, no.
Oh.
There hasn't been.
There's only been speculation.
They're kind of teasing it, but they haven't officially announced anything. I was going to bring up Dragon Quest XI because Square Enix apparently, like, accidentally said that it was coming to the NX and then took it back or something. But those are basically, like, the four that I think that have pretty much been confirmed so far. It's very unusual for Sega to announce the Sonic game this early. That's coming out it's still a year and a half away.
Yeah.
And I think they probably announced it a year and a half prior just to make it clear that Sonic Mania isn't like a reboot. Like, because when Sonic Mania was the only thing that was announced, I think people might be... like, the trailer seems to imply that they were full on, like, rebooting the series from, like, a certain point. And the other thing is that this game has been in development for about 3 years now, which is a much longer development cycle than a typical Sonic game. Sonic games are usually developed in, I would say, like, a year and a half to 2 years. And Sonic Mania, it's coming out sooner, but there's still quite a wait for that game too, spring 2017. And Sonic Boom Fire and Ice was supposed to come out last year. And that got delayed an entire year. Like, Sega doesn't do these things. They don't delay games, they don't spend that much time working on games. It feels like now more than ever that this is a mission for Sega to really bring Sonic back to some sort of glory. Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, I think, unfortunately, won't do very well critically just because people either don't care or they just decide to hate it just because it has Sonic Boom in the title.
Like, and like I said, yeah, that's like I said, because the DS one, the 3DS one, Shattered Crystal, was people liked it, and that was the best case scenario. And honestly, well, I like the TV show. I liked the few episodes I watched. They're very funny.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why they're continuing with that in the first place, because if the TV show didn't do well either, they probably would have dropped Sonic Boom like a rock.
Yeah, they would have just tied ropes on it, kicked it in the ocean, and just left it there.
Project Sonic 2017, it's hard to say. It's being done by the same team as Colors and Generations, which is good. A lot more time is being spent on it than the average Sonic game, which is even better. I'm not too sure about its darker tone. We don't have any real gameplay. Like, I mean, despite everything the series has gone through, I'm usually never that unsure about a Sonic game when I follow the news surrounding it. Like, the last time I felt sort of this uneasiness about a Sonic game was Sonic Unleashed. That's the most pessimistic I ever initially felt about a Sonic game, but I ended up loving Sonic Unleashed, so I'm kind of hoping that it will have the Unleashed effect for me, at least with Project Sonic 2017. Sonic Mania, I just have an extremely difficult time thinking that Sega can screw that up. Like, I think out of all the games, Sonic Mania is straight up, it's just straight up what people wanted for the longest time. I just can't see that, like, doing badly.
Then we remember Sonic Genesis.
Yeah, but remember Sonic Generations with classic Sonic, they did him some justice there, so...
They realized having two engines in one game is pretty bad. It can end up pretty bad in the long run.
So, do you have anything else to say about either one of these games?
No.
Okay, then, well... Oh yeah, actually the last thing I will say is that one of the things that stuck out to me about Sonic Mania is that I actually love the name Sonic Mania. I don't know what it is about it, but I think my thought is, because no matter what type of fan you are, I think we can all agree that there is some sort of mania surrounding this franchise all the time.
Yeah.
Anywho, this has been Espionic. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah. Bye.